The phenomenon of flash games is so iconic that it seems to need no introduction. It seems that every child of the 2000s would come home from school, turn on the computer and, with no worries and plenty of free time, dive into the archaic world of pop-up screens and pure creativity. But for money born a bit later, this world might seem unfamiliar, so let's start from the beginning. This is Line Rider, a game about a little man on a sled, who slides down a line drawn by you. There is no deep idea or any goal, just a little man sliding down a sled. The only limit here is your imagination. And this game, released in 2006, became a legend with millions of downloads and the fifth most popular search on Google among all users. An amazingly simple concept that turned into the Tetris of a new era, capturing the hearts of many people, including mine. It was with this game that many began their acquaintance with the great and terrifying world of flash games. It was an interesting time, which largely ended due to the blocking of the Adobe Flash Player plugin in 2020. Why it is so important? Because without this little piece of the internet, games as we know them today might not exist. Even the ordinary memes we send to each other might not have existed. So in this video I want to stir your nostalgic neurons and take you back 25 years. I will tell you how this phenomenon was born and of course recall the most popular flash games that remains in our memory. And at the end I will show you the other side of the flash industry, explaining why this fossil is better left buried forever. Brew yourself some tea, my name is Juptail, and let's begin. First, let's go back a quarter of a century and remember what the internet was like at that time. It was like cave painting, to be honest. Each visit to a website back then was more like solving a puzzle than a simple stroll as it is now. However, what we saw on the screen wasn't the pinnacle of web design artistry. This was truly the pinnacle of web design artistry. To fully experience the atmosphere of the time, you can visit the old CNN homepage with the O.J. Simpson trial, Space Jam, MC Spotlight, The Backdoor, and the mysterious Zombo.com.
Welcome. This is Zombo.com. Welcome to Zombo.com. You can do anything at Zombo.com.
And all of this thanks to Flash Player. It allowed us to draw and animate pictures and display this wonder on the internet, making websites come alive and marking the beginning of a new era of the internet. Then came the huge .com bubble scandal, which caused 90% of the entire internet market to collapse. But I will tell you that story some other time. The main thing to remember is that in search of profit, websites came up with a new way to make money, namely the painfully familiar spam. Spam became the new plague that filled absolutely everything. And if you think Flash was involved, you are right. Let's skip ahead a bit and meet Rob Small, who saw unlimited potential in spam and wondered, what if spam spread not just ads but also entertainment services? With this idea, the mini clip was created and the first file was uploaded, changing our world forever. It was Dancing Bush, the progenitor of all memes and more or less content sharing. This wonder could be freely placed on your site, thus filling your empty space with content, and traffic would flow to the mini-clip. Surprisingly, this simple clicker spread like wildfire. Just 2 months after its release, hundreds of thousands of people either played this game or placed it on their websites. Almost immediately, unofficial sequels and copies began to appear, and mini-clips revenue reached 1.2 million a year. However, there was one problem: keeping users on the site. Dancing Bush kept people engaged for only a few seconds, and Rob knew this. To make more money, more interactivity was needed, so he hired a team to create simple games for miniclip, which weren't particularly noteworthy and were often endless. These games lacked soul and original ideas, but on the other side of the internet, Newgrounds.com was waking from a long, semi-dead slumber. Previously, it was a simple forum created by Tom Falp. where various enthusiasts, including Tom himself, published Flash videos, but there were only few people who were watching this. However, with the creation of Flash games, Newgrounds became the place where true creativity among game developers flourished. No one was limited by time, censorship, or, heaven forbid, moral boundaries. People just created and uploaded absolutely everything as long as it was playable, and it is time to dive into nostalgia and launch our favorite titles. Let's start with the Alien Hominid. Since the games were created by individuals, almost every Flash creation had bugs so severe that finishing them was nearly impossible. Amid this chaos, in the pursuit of website traffic, our familiar Tom Falp hired a professional team to create a high-quality and memorable product. This game was Alien Hominid. His plan worked. The character was so charismatic and the gameplay so engaging that no one dared argue otherwise. A true masterpiece of its time, the enemies are accurate, you have only 5 lives, and each life is lost after a single bullet. An ideal platformer that attracted many and still does today. This isn't just clicking on a cookie. Speaking of cookies, Cookie Clicker is also a product of Flash. It was released in 2013 by French programmer Julien Thienot. This game became the progenitor of all modern clickers, and in 2021 it was released on Steam. To be honest, I didn't really like this genre of games, but while recording gameplay, I wanted to click on a cookie for just 10 minutes, and the tense of progress was set up so smoothly and professional that I could barely tear myself away after an hour because I needed to get back to writing the video script. I'm sure some of you always thought that Angry Birds was the first game where you launched objects at buildings and creatures. I hate to disappoint you. A game about castle sieges outdid us all. The queen of the beginning of the mobile gaming boom. Although you could say that about any Flash game in general. In Crush the Castle, you simply have to crush the king, queen and their courtiers with stones. And sometimes even use a bundle of grenades. And a year later, it delighted everyone by appearing on mobile devices, forever remaining in our memories and hearts. Age of War is one of my favorite games. I can't even say what I like more. Its meditative quality or the urge to smash my laptop when the enemy destroys your base with an army of 5 tribesmen. This is a wall-to-wall game, where you need to destroy the enemy base before they destroy yours. And as you progress and accumulate a certain amount of experience, you will jump between eras, up to galactic warriors and tanks. A simple concept of confrontation that still works today. Just think of Clash Royale with the same cards and goal of destroying the opponent's base. A sequel was later released, adding more acting spells and soldier upgrades, but overall, the gameplay didn't change much.
I'm fast as fuck, boy.
Well, who doesn't know about Snail Bob? A cool puzzle game featuring a snail named Bob. There are even Switches with the same name. The plot of the game is simple. Snail Bob lives peacefully, eats food, goes to bed, and then suddenly builders come and destroy his house. Now Bob needs to find a new place to live. Let's talk about the gameplay. We have a snail that can only crawl forward, and is to figure out how to get it to the finish pipe without dying. Nothing can make you forget the tension and stress, as you have to protect Bob from flames while he smiles and moves forward. It's a wonderful designed puzzle game that often managed to surprise. Success didn't take long, and eventually Bob's story led to 8 sequels, and the game soon came out on iOS and Android. Frankly, the phenomenon of Happy Wheels deserves a separate video, and I long debate where to place it, in the trash category or not. But such a well-made game deserves to be among the good ones, even though it has some controversial levels. In any case, this game definitely became legendary, and it's clear why. It has a convenient level editor, and levels being created more often than your grandma's pies. Modders and the immense attention from YouTubers and viewers didn't leave Happy Wheels unnoticed. Created in 2010 by Jim Bonacci, it was distributed as demo version on all gaming sites, enticing people to visit the creator's website to play the full version. And even after the Flash Player block, Jim managed to translate the game to a new engine that turned out to be more efficient. Moreover, he managed to transfer absolutely all levels, although the oldest ones don't always run. Nevertheless, new creations by modders are being made and played smoothly.
So good and tasty.
Meet Boy. In 2008, two talented developers, Edmund Macmillan and Jonathan McEntry, started working on a new Flash game for Newgrounds. Their hero, initially named Meat Ninja, soon became known as Meat Boy to avoid confusion with the characters from another game, The Ninja from N. After 3 months of hard work, on October 5, 2008, Meat Boy was released. It was a platformer where the player needed to overcome levels without dying to save his girlfriend. The game quickly gained popularity, attracting the attention of giants like Nintendo and Microsoft. These companies offered to create a version of the game for their game consoles and arcade services. In August 2017, the game was officially announced under the name Super Meat Boy Forever, with a planned release in 2018. However, the fate had other plans, and the game was delayed several times. Finally, on December 2020, Super Meat Boy Forever was released on Steam. I must say that this game makes me cry and make my friends wonder about my mental health. Now a bit about the game Aguero. It all began in April 2015, when Brazilian developer Mateus Valadares created a prototype game called Aguero. The concept was simple: player controls cells that grow by eating other cells. The prototype was posted on the online forum 4chan, where it quickly gained popularity, and then Miniclip took the game under its wing. It helped adapt Aguero for mobile platforms, leading to even greater popularity. I believe this game became the father of the King of the Hill genre and sparked the desire for people to kill and dominate. Alright, enough about the good games. It is time to tell you what else the Flash era was famous for and why you wouldn't want your kids to see this. Let's start with the fact that at the beginning of the Flash game era, no one really knew how to make games. Everyone expressed their creativity in their own way. One of the longest running trends was the dress-up genre. You could dress up just about anything: girls, ponies, terrorists, cars, and even dead children. By the way, the author of the idea to dress up dead children was none other than Edmund Macmillan. Yes, that dark closet should not have been opened. In reality, it is terrifying to imagine how quickly you could stumble upon some trash back then. For example, here we are fighting in Hillary Clinton's face from 10 different butts, now we are watching a funny compilation of Transformers videos, and now we are putting eggs in Pony's butt to make an omelette. By the way, this game even has a Halloween spin-off where apples are used instead of eggs. That's the internet of that time for you. Back then, the kill everything that moves and kill someone genre was also popular. Cartoon characters, kids, and political figures were all targets. I must say, you could track all global trends and events through Flash games. For example, after the tragedy of September 11, Flash games, where you had to press buttons to hit Bin Laden, appeared just 9 days after the event. In the future, he would get a lot more from the Flash community. People don't forgive such things. And the next interesting phenomenon was sound bots, with various celebrities or characters from movies and real life.
How did I ever get around by
When is the next time?
That's what I'm talking about, and people gave it pretty high ratings. Yes, not only could you find a chart of different types of farts here, but you could also play as a guy who first strains on the toilet, then takes off from it, and now you have to control him collecting food along the way so that the poop doesn't run out, just like his flight. And this is a simple click where a guy named Doody Man poop on our voodoo doll in 11 different variations, and in the end he takes off from his fart like Superman. Here we play as a little cute princess who opened the door for an old lady, and following her into the dark forest, where he finally discovers that the old lady was an alien in disguise. Now the little princess has to fight against these aliens using her farts. I'm sure you are as puzzled as she is. I haven't even told you about the drug-addicted rabbit with the dead toy, trying to dodge insults from penguins. Or about the anime girl racing down the highway in her game chair, dodging cars. There were 6 such games created, maybe more. If you haven't been sick yet, I have a few more pieces of trash to finish you off. There is Junkie Lario, who rides a skateboard to cheerful music. A game where all you have are banners with pornography and prohibited animations. But apparently that wasn't enough for people, so the author released a sequel with the same porn signs. There is a game where we collect words from a set of letters and try to prevent a man from being hanged by his testicles. There is a game where we smoke with some guy in a closet and then do something to him there. And there we have weird Mario and Luigi cartoons that will make you wake up at night in horror. Here we have a game where we need to launch a kitten into spikes and explosives, and a game where we have to win a sparring match against a host named Peach. And here we have a game where you have to control chicken with a big axe. God, what's wrong with Flash? I will pause here for now. Everything I've talked about was mainly Flash games from the 2000s, although there are still dirty contenders today. In any case, Flash opened a huge door for the indie movement and the gaming industry as a whole. Later websites appeared, where they began to share profits from games with developers, and the Flash community developed by leaps and bounds, until Adobe decided to pull the Flash Player plugin from the internet due to outdated technology, thus closing the lid on an entire era. While Miniclip with its super profits and influence decided to just do nothing, Newgrounds and other sites like Congregate, Armor Games and others did colossal work and managed to preserve their legacy and give content creators of all kinds a chance to showcase their creativity again. The main thing is not that Flash existed, but that there are still things that were created thanks to it. And this is wonderful.